Violence, violence, violence. I don't like it. I avoid, but violence likes me. I can't avoid.
Hey dear, welcome to AK Movies Talk. Today I want to talk about the most awaited movie, called KGF 2. So let's start, spoilers ahead, watch out and stay safe. At the starting of the movie, present time 2018 has been shown and it has been told that Anand, who was telling the story in the KGF chapter 1 and had heart attack and he was admitted in the hospital. There is son Dejendra come to meet him. The story was incomplete, that's why everybody wants to know the full story, and when journalists ask Vahendra to complete the story, then Vijendra take them to his father's library. In the library, they started searching the book of KGF chapter 2 and then they find out the book, then he start telling story. The actress story begins where we use it to know that do it when Rocky made Garuda. More than 20,000 people of Maratawa got along with the trophy because he already got the heart of all of them. Had won and in a way stood before them today as their messiah, so they all were there. Killed the guards and made him your new sultan. On the other hand, do that to his partner only. It was learnt that Garuda had been killed and it seemed that now after crores of rupees, his younger brother Virat do the new sultan of do so. The next day Andreev, Rajendra Desai, Guru Pandyan and Kamal, all the readers come together. Come to see Virat's coronation, where the end is the situation on which the lead character of this story is the city. Combustion Rocky, that's where the helicopter flies in the middle of a lot of drum cards, lands on it and comes out. Seeing Rocky Valley's everything, the ground slips under their feet that they felt, so it was a gift to them. The coming new king will be Virat if seeing Rocky in front of him, and everyone gets upset because Virat, he was already killed by Rocky, that he could never raise his voice against it now because stop here. When all of them were made up, because of this, Kamal gets very angry. He tells him the truth. And he says, will anyone on the road walk and come and become near us? If you don't remember, you will walk by road? We had brought what Akat Hai Terry, and now Rocky has forcibly brought Rajendra Desai's daughter i.e. in the serial. Because of this, Kamal's anger was on the seventh heaven and he shouted slogans against it. He starts abusing him, but in the meantime, Rocky's gun goes off and the poor Kamal Bai is attacked. The current scene is shot that in the chaff where the people there because of becoming the boss of the office are from him. He was very happy because he is getting the necessary things like bread and clothes, houses and medicines. Rocky removed the old guards there and gave them the position of appointing some powerful people there. But there was a small problem here, that none of them had the proper to run blood. That's why the trophy had kept the old commander and corporation of Garuda alive, so that with the help of the boss, the new light could be turned around. At first, one was against Rocky, but later when his life is made, he will also support him. Gets ready for where he gets all the new boys to catch the gun and run from both properly. The food starts and at the same time takes the responsibility of the security there himself, after which again Rocky. By gathering all our partners, we tell you that there is not only one gold mine, in which there is not only one gold mine, there is 8 and exists, i.e. total no gold mines. G had kept Suryavardhan and Karuna had kept it closed so far because he wanted to remove the Suji from all those gold mines one by one, slowly, and running this work over the years. I wanted to, but I planned to take out all the gold from there in just 2 years, and that's the reason why. He used to work with the workers there himself day and night, and now slowly do it with his own. The scene that had made the business quite big is the shoot of this story's lead villain Sanjay Dutt, i.e. on the basis of which there were things about him that he was dead, but he was only waiting for the right time, because if knew that if he had gone out of his way, and now a new man on the whole of gold mines. The hand of Adirat cannot bear this at all and goes out to finish the man. Where the scene is shot that the stick attacks the outpost, and at the time when the security is low. A boy tries hard to stop from another and tells that Rocky will not leave me alive, so I won't leave Magadhara alive. Couldn't stand anywhere in front of him, and Adirat kills him on the Mainville sea shift that the rest of the creature. On the partner of where the entries on which Rajendra Desai and the rest of the people say that we are on our way. Rocky has to be removed, but to do that, he has to go out of the do and come out only when he can come out. Rina will come out, and how long it is necessary to reach one of the importers to bring Rina out, and that's what. By asking for life, the entries finish Rajendra Desai here, and if this thing reaches Rina then Reena, hearing the news of her father's death, goes running to him, but there was so much weakness. So Rocky also goes after him to save his life and don't attack him anywhere, so Reena follows him. Pritish had reached far ahead of the car, but only then he sees some goons in front of him, but at the time when? By the time Rocky had also reached there with his fast Mustang, in a very good car cheese scene is shown in the chest in which a lot of powerful bullets are fired at Rocky. But her armored Mustang, whose number was 805 looking like Pop, was moving ahead, dusting them all off. Here, basically all these people had met Adira at this time, and from this too, the mind was baited and Rocky Gadra. Here's the one of the best fighting scenes of this movie where Rocky alone is those. The asthma of all the qualities would have liked if he had come to Daira's area, and since then Vidra would have made him one of his own. Long life shoots from the warden so that Rocky falls injured and falls down. Magad Hera chances him at that time. Doesn't kill and says he wants to show his power right now how strong he is. To put people in the offs that there were people who had remained Rocky's strength until this time, if many of the courage will be broken, then the morale of those people will also fall. That's why you leave Rocky there and do it. Camping outside and at the same time does not let anyone come in or out of do so differently. By doing the business stops. Here the scene is shot on Shetty in Mumbai, who is in his power. Dubai Sheikh now joins hands with the venue to raise in all of Rocky's colleagues living in Mumbai. Kill the entire beach of Mumbai makes its name, i.e. you do all the work by folding there. Shetty was about to see that during this time, many heads of parliament came together to bring down Guru Pandey's government. Triya was not Guru Pandey, because of which for so many years no one had noticed. But you do it from all sides, there was no place left. On the other side, Rocky's health was also there. There was a lot of noise, but at some point of time, when the situation gets a little bit right on its own, taking Reena with him, he gets out of the helicopter from things at first. People think that Rocky, he is running away from here leaving with us, but Rocky had some other plan after which he reaches there. In and meets his position party, i.e. the destined Khalil, and a business proposal in front of him. Keeps Velvet Khalil refuses to do business because he had now mixed up with Shetty. But before Rocky went to Dubai, Shetty was completely found in the mud with the help of her intelligence men. Had prepared to give, and by the time Rocky had reached Dubai, his men had ruined Shetty completely. And now that all things were clear in front of the due purchase, Rocky had made the West Coast inside himself. So he gets ready to deal with her, in exchange for which Rocky Ed Kali has a lot of AK-47 gun buys, because so far they just had one by one looting dirt, and if the enemy big. If you need weapons too big to kill them, after which Rocky now in front of you when you reach India. Stands up, and with the help of his new games, the thread sitting outside Odu's fry all these people. Rocky was standing in front of him with more than 24 trucks, inside which hundreds of people carried AK-47s. A lot of people of Adira are killed in the standing, and after a fairly long running shootout, and the finalist Adira also gets injured in that firing, and there comes the lead-generated dialogue violence of this movie. Violence, I don't like it, I want, but violence like me can't avoid here, and that's the person who, between the government of going to Mumbai and threatening all the leaders of parliament with their own hands and saving the government. Here there is more to hatred here, and the distance between these two is somewhere close. And it is seen that they get married, and then in just 3 years, from 1978 to 1981, to breathe life. He changed the entire map of the chief. He turned more than half of the space there into a modern industry, and made the rest of the place a beautiful city so that the people living there need essential items such as bread. The clothes, house and medicines were also found to be proper time and proper, and in these 3 years, he almost got there. Almost all the gold was removed, but then in the same year Guru Pandey's government falls, and in its place a new one. The PM comes whose name was Girlfriend Sen, and he gets very angry after the crime and the illegal. His aim was to finish both these things 100% with this whole, by becoming the CM of value. Another character in the story, Raghavan, is very happy because he has been investigating for many years. But it was very difficult to do this with the group admin, but after Mika Singh left, he got the full card. When you go against Big Boss, somewhere people will attack him against him for getting a guru. But this time, the whole situation was under control in him. explains what kind of Luggle mining and an ultimate game of Rocky is going on there. After knowing things, his girlfriend is meeting him with him and running as much as Rocky's factory all over the country. The warehouse and all the illegal businesses that were running pass orders to raid them, the news was spread all over the country, so despite the CBI raiding, they did not get any news somewhere. Then there is no evidence, but in Bangalore they find a small gold biscuit in a godown and that evidence was enough to get Rocky caught in the police, although it wasn't a big problem. But when Rocky found out that one of his gold biscuits had gone, he had to take this gold biscuit. The policeman there has an attitude of the policeman there, but looking at Rocky's wrath. The policeman is in the middle of it, but even at this time, Rocky's anger had not calmed down and he did something. Time ago bought some games in which the same big mother who used to calm down when she walked in had a turn to pick up the big mother in front of all of them, and then comes the one of the receivers of this movie where the torso to stop turning that entire police station into a crematorium and making a cigarette from the tip of that burning machine. Someone turned out to be the next Rocky. Everyone was afraid of his terror, but still no one should go against him. That's why this did not reach the news reporter and the people of the country, but in the meantime, the name of Anand Mangal. A man turns against him and wanted to bring his truth to the whole country, so he secretly did it. After which the cuts there were very smart, they grabbed him and brought it directly in front of Rocky, but Rocky Anand praises the "Are you dare" after that at the time of killing Mongolki and says that you like. It is the courageous people who want to run this country. Ask what do you ask for, after which he says that if I want to tell people about you, then on the contrary, Rocky himself gives him pen and paper and then he tells him every little thing he does by completing his due, but for so long his. After being together, the two of Mars find out that Rocky is a criminal as well as a good one. There is also a human being who has resorted to living if he has done the legal smudging of gold, then at the same time he has also supported many people to live. Today, the stove in his house is burning. And the illegal smudging gets some details that he knows reaches Mika Seal, now Ramesh's scene. He sends his entire force to get him arrested, but when Rocky gets the news of it, Volta. He reaches out to him himself and lets all the evidence against him, but despite that, he still stands there. I couldn't even have our juice because Rocky set his black money in such a way that that money also went to a lot of party members, and if he was arrested it meant party members. Because of this, no one can even shave his hair if he sees all this, then Argmika sings. Anger reaches the seventh heaven and increases in their minds and more than before, like holding it. After which Rocky executes his biggest plan, he stops selling gold from now on. So that the temple starts all over the country by mining all the gold only and only of itself. Now, if you look at it, there was a commotion everywhere in the black market, everyone is just against stopping. But he was doing all this not out of fear of being caught by the PM, but for someone else behind it. There are people close to him and ask him what is the reason behind doing all this. So Rocky tells whose father was an alcoholic who never kept his mother empty, he did something Aditya. She did not have it even when she needed it, which is why her mother separated from her husband and she had her life. While working very hard, the Gujars have suffered so much in the government and at a young age because of their mother's less. He walked in age, but before he died, he had promised his son that he was the richest man in this world. He will be able to help the poor, so Rocky was collecting the gold of this whole country now because if he won. His father never took care of his mother, so he called his mother as well as his father. It opened and gave it immediately that the dust accumulated on it will have to keep avoiding it, whatever is needed, he will get the money. Everything will be found if there should never be dust on it, it has to be kept clean every time and there should be flowers on it. On the other hand, you were very angry with such a big defeat and did it for a long time. Na and Rocky were planning to kill them, but the problem is that the thing was that do go to the office. All the roads were closed by Rocky's side. So where would he have gone from if the period had come, so he had his own. Sir had put the men looking for another 6th Mai so that he could get inside. Mother on end which have been helps her to go to an instant that's straight up the outpost of. But she used to open it after which Adira along with her entire team goes to finish that powder. Inayat Khalil was also very angry because of the closure of such a big business, so he was very much angry with his. All the soldiers sent to Adira so that he can remove Rocky from his way. The same scene shoots towards Rocky, who is currently able to find his work to check his work. Then suddenly Reena is there. But she comes and says that I don't feel any good today, you please come home, they want to tell you this here. She was that she is pregnant and she is going to be the mother of Rocky's baby, but at the same time, there is Adira. Reaches along and sees that a battlefield is formed there, everyone was on the war. The people of Adira were killing Rocky's people, so many times they were firing at the people in the meantime. Sandwich also reaches there and shoots the guards there along with his people whose. Later it was the turn of the story that the arrival of the main villain, i.e. Adhiraj, had the sniper and his target right behind him. Rocky, but seeing his love not being sacrificed, Reena jumps in the middle and the bullet hits her. Seeing this, it is as if the ground slips under Rocky's feet. He can't think about what all this is going to be. And now the storm was about to come, after which a very spectacular fight between Adira and Rocky showed us. He kills the gang's Adira, but even at this time, Rocky had the question in his mind that after all, they should do it. Until this, and then it happens, because who can be behind all this, after which it goes. Parliament with a gun in his hand completely stained with blood and a scene of deficiency in front of his eyes and picks up the gun and shoots him, but not the girlfriend Sean but Guru Pandyan because of all this. Guru Pandey was not behind, he was the one who spoke to the entries and first of all, reached the address of that tunnel so far. That when Suryavardhan's health was bad, it was Guru Pandey who showed him the way to death and Garuda was new. Made a cold drink and then when he didn't walk in front of Garuda, he didn't find Rocky the same and then ask for life and get your own government topple itself. Ravi Singh has been made the new PM so that he can eliminate Rocky. Seeing all this, Ravi Singh is quite stunned that in front of him, Rocky has roasted Guru Pandey. At first, she wanted to catch only Rocky, but after this incident, she decided this. That Rocky was made to the Saudis from the link and then a death warrant is signed against him, which is what we. Rocky, who had seen in chapter 1 that he had seen in the beginning, knew that one day such a situation would definitely come. So he shifted more than 20,000 people who were already working here to such a please. Given where he had already built a new city and when the Indian Army chief starts mentoring. All the people who live there leave the do and start settling in the city and when the army people. If you start searching it, then neither the stopped nor the gold present there because even before they reached there, the driver heard the Rocky workout and took it in a shape and headed towards the Indian Ocean. Rocky didn't want to let all his gold fall into the hands of the government, so he wanted the whole gold. He made a promise to his mother when he put large containers in it and was going ahead in a rain filled with a shape. He was that he would bring all the gold of the world to him, so drink a bottle there and drink the whole bottle to the Indian Navy. Calls that he heard all the things are going to drown in the water, now somewhere he does not drop the gold in the water. So all the photos reach to catch him, but Ravi Singh is only a failure till this time. The hand was there, so she passes the boaters to drop the bomb on the ship, or on one side, complete the devastation. And there the second missile comes and falls on Rocky's head and Sarasota plus Rocky of Indian Ocean. Everything was over in the middle and everything was drowned in the sea after the death of the feet. Inan and Mongol thinks of writing a book on his life which was done during this time too, but because from Rimicus had passed your orders that Rocky's name would never be taken in history, so when later, if the Heraldo book of the nominee is published, then the government runs all his office and this is the same. With this movie ends here, now here is the second end credit scene related to this movie. Quid and there is a post-credit in whose pregnancy we can see that just like this whole accident. 3 months ago, Azinta of it gets a successive sense and looks at a file and tells that Rocky has changed from 1978 to 90. And then started reading too much time in 16 different directions that it was written that did it by. In another country, it comes back to the post-credit scene of this movie where we see it. That present time 2018 gets chapter by Nungal means that the story of yet complete. That's the end of the movie. What do you think about the movie? Do let me know in the comments section. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe and click the bell icon so that you will not miss the single video when I upload an exciting video like this. Thanks for watching and stay safe.